Hi, we are back live from the Auterion booth at Exponential 2022 for our last live video of day 2 of the show. And after having talked to a lot of our partners today, we have one more Auterion guest on stage, and it's Markus, our VP Engineering.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us on stage, Markus.
Yeah, thanks for letting me here.
So we heard a big announcement, an internal announcement, actually, a public announcement about Auterion this morning, and it was about the new software release. So the Auterion software platform has a new release, which was released this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about the highlights of this release, please?
Yes, very happy to. So one of the highlights is definitely our precision mapping kit. So we integrated the Sony Alpha 7R with PPK processing, and together with the S3 side scan solution. And with that mapping and the precision of the PPK, we get to a global accuracy of about 3 centimeters.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot. You mentioned a lot of different steps in a sentence. So we have the camera integration, we have a PPK post-processing, and then we have an interface to a data processing software. Can you tell us a little bit about these individual components and how they build the end-to-end workflow?
All right, yes. So we have the Sony Alpha 7R integrated on the FreeFly Astro. Now this is capturing all the necessary data. We're capturing 60 megapixel pictures of the surface. We collect precision timestamps later on for our geotags, and that is all integrated with our ecosystem. So to the user, this all appears under the same user interface. So there's no extra training needed for it.
Okay, and then you also mentioned the PPK part of the workflow. So how does that work?
Yeah, so exactly. So we record GPS correction data. So once the drone has landed, we have an app where you load the PPK correction data plus the images, and then this app reprocesses this, creates the precision geotags, and that will have then will lead to this absolute accuracy that is later then needed for the processing.
Okay, so this is basically improving the geotag that's already happening on the drone to even a higher precision.
Correct. So at the end of the day, when everything is processed into a 3D model, if you click on one of those points in the point cloud, you know the precision of that point globally in GPS by roughly 3 centimeters.
Okay, that's awesome.
And I think that is pretty exciting that it works to that degree of accuracy.
Absolutely, and it's also a nice story of how we see that all these individual pieces coming together, right? The partnering with the manufacturer of the drone, and then with the camera, and now the software components, really creating this overall solution for this specific use case.
Exactly, yeah. That's really exciting to move this forward.
Now, I also saw that there are a couple of other highlights which are included in the same release. Can you quickly talk a little bit about those?
Yes, so we have live telemetry and video streaming in the suite. So now if you click onto your vehicle page and the vehicle is online, you will see live data of the telemetry. So somebody else, wherever in the world, who can open the vehicle web page, can track the activities of the vehicle live. So you see the telemetry, but I think even more important than that, you can see the live video from the vehicle.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, but I mean, yeah. So basically anywhere where you have access to the suite, you can see any drone of your fleet in action while it's in the air.
Correct. Yeah.
And what would be a typical use case in a commercial application for this kind of feature?
So if you think about inspection workflows, so you can send a pilot out who's not necessarily the subject matter expert of that particular inspection scenario. So now you can have the expert sitting in an office, monitoring this remote and giving the pilots instructions.
Okay, without being in the field.
Without actually being in the field.
Okay, so we're talking about also increasing efficiency of workflows, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can think this a little further. So this subject matter expert who's now sitting in the office can do multiple inspections at once in various places of the world, essentially.
Without leaving the office.
Without leaving the office.
Awesome. Okay. All right, so we have the surveying package, we have the live telemetry data. I think there's one more highlight that we also mentioned in the release, public release today, right?
So we have the advanced vehicle registration, so it's much easier to get your vehicle hooked up.
Okay.
And
all right.
And let me think, there were so many more.
There was one more. I talked about it on stage. It's about the component that's included, and it's the parachute system which basically helps us reducing risk with our partners. I talked to Andreas before. He's the CEO of the drone rescue systems, and this is something, again, it's not limited to a specific vehicle, right? So we're opening this up to the whole ecosystem so that people can actually benefit from it.
Again, it's one of the components that you can have, that we have in our portfolio, and our drone manufacturer can easily pick from that selection, in that case the parachute system, and get this integrated on the drone, and then save a lot of time and work for the integration efforts.
I think for me that's really a nice example of, because if we look at the surveying, we already have this nice combination of, again, drone manufacturer, payload, software, but now we even have a component, a hardware component that we can add to an overall solution to really make it, to add value and benefits to our partners who build these end solutions, right?
Exactly, yeah. So really the ecosystem is growing. We're adding more and more components, and I'm really, really excited to see the next integrations.
Okay, so there's one more thing we want to talk about. It's standing right here on that table. It looks a little bit like Skynode, but I think it's not, right?
It's not exactly. So it's called the AI node.
Okay.
And so often now when we're talking about more autonomy and we're mounting bigger and bigger cameras on the drones, there's a lot of large amount of data that's being created, and that's often just overloading your data links. And so what you actually want to do is process this data on board and potentially have the drone make decisions on board, or only give distilled or filtered data to the pilot and reduce the effort for the pilot to control the system.
And why would you want to do this on board? Why don't you send the data somewhere and then process it somewhere else?
So with modern cameras, we have 60 megapixels, or it's easily you create amounts of 200 megabytes per second.
Oh, okay.
And so that would overload any current data link.
Right.
So that is why you really want to process this raw data on board.
Okay, and is this replacing the Skynode that we know?
No, so that is an addition to Skynode.
Okay.
It integrates into the whole ecosystem. It also runs Auterion OS with all the established developer workflows, such that our users can easily develop now the applications on this AI node as well.
Okay, and I see, it comes in this nice enclosure. So what's the benefit of having it in this factory versus just having the additional mission computer as such?
So what we have here, it's actually, we integrated an NVIDIA Jetson Xavier NX.
Okay.
So that actually gives us all the computational horsepower that we need. And what we usually do at Auterion with those designs, so this is a reference design or an evaluation kit. So you can buy it as the box just to get started. And then over time, when you integrate closer in the product, we offer OEM versions of that. That's essentially just the PCB stack. Or even if necessary, we're happy to share the schematics and the production files, such that this can really be tightly integrated into the customer's drone.
Okay, so this specific form is basically made for prototyping, getting started immediately. But when it comes to production, you could also have your own form factor built into the.
Correct.
Correct. Right. Awesome. Okay, so can I buy it, or is it off the shelf available?
So we have now an early access program.
Okay.
So please contact us, and then we can get some early units to you.
All right, exciting. So if you want to learn more about it and have interest in joining early access, I think it's the best way to get in touch, so that Markus and his team can get back in touch and talk about how you can integrate this in your Auterion powered solution. Markus, it was great to have you here. Thanks a lot for telling us so much about the software release. So
thank you very much.
That was our last video for today. I was talking to Markus, our VP Engineering of Auterion. We will be back live from the booth tomorrow morning, and I hope to see you all back online tomorrow.